how GameStop is going to be your next local card store. We're in trouble. Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. I'm Gary, the Card Father, and it's a beautiful day in here in Columbus, Ohio. And got some really crazy news. Pokey Beach coming out with some hot takes here recently. Just some interesting information hit the hot presses over the weekend. Not sure if you've subscribed or watched their or listened to their podcast, but I just started, and wow, some insightful things there. But the cool thing is, Pokey Beach put out this amazing article stating that GameStop is to start selling TCG singles starting with Pokemon. Yeah, that's right. I mean, apparently they've been testing this for several months, and they started with singles right at the counter, it looks like. I got a screenshot here for you to see, but and they're looking at doing graded cards. So they explained in this particular article and a little bit more in depth within the podcast episode, but it looks like GameStop is diving into the trading card world. Now, Pokemon being one of their biggest sellers, actually, I think it is the only biggest seller. I don't think they sell a lot of Magic there or Dragon Ball Z or anything in that nature. But because Pokemon is one of the biggest items that you know is being sold at GameStop, between all the plushies and all the toys and of course cards and all of the collectible stuff, it's inevitable that they're going to move into this space. But they started moving in, and apparently a few months ago they started moving in this direction. But what based on what they're being told is that they're going to start with selling PSA 8 or higher cards graded online. Now, they've only tested out the market a little bit, but they're not going to sell cards that are, or they're not going to accept cards. I should say this first. They're going to take in trades. That's going to be a mess and a half, man. They're going to take in trades on PSA 8 or higher cards that will allow you to trade in for other products at GameStop. I cannot stop smiling about this. This is so goofy. But apparently you'll be able to trade in your PSA 8 Umbreon for an ETB. Who knows? That's definitely trade value is equal there, isn't it?
Yup.
But anyway, they're going to accept those in. They're not going to take CGC or Beckett at this time. And they're going to allow for either cash or store credit. So, but they're not offering any notes about how they're determining values or what they're doing in that space. But and then eventually they're going to move down the line into selling actual singles in the store like you would at a local card shop, I'm assuming. Now, there was this interesting screenshot here that you see is like they started to sell hollows and reverse hollows at $1. Listen, they're not always worth that much. I think the last time I sold a reverse hollow on TCG Player was during the 151 craze. And that was a Metapod that I was getting close to like $2 for a reverse hollow. If it's not a vintage card and it's a reverse hollow, and if it's not a vintage card, you're not getting more than $1 for it. I'm sorry. Like, TCG Player is literally trying to do what a lot of resellers do with the old style V cards, or the GXs or EXs, where they're not really worth, or even like trainer gallery cards. Some trainer gallery cards are like 68 cents or something like that, like the Crown Zenith ones. But uh, I mean, GameStop's really going to try to do this. Like, they're going to try to push hollows and reverse hollows for $1. Guys, welcome to trading card world. It's nuts here. Yeah.
Welcome.
So anyway, apparently they've been experimenting with also trade and play events where they're opening their doors to a once a week or once every other week. I think they started with new set releases. So they were doing trade and plays, and then they're moving that to a bi-weekly system where they're going to offer that like your local card shop, the one that you've been going to for several years and have a really good following and support their business because they're awesome people and they know what they're doing. Yeah, that one. So I just want you to note, though, here's a little kicker. This has all been supported by the Pokemon Company International. They provided a lot of promotional materials for GameStop. They've provided the build and battle kits. They provided the promo kits. They provided all of the marketing material. So TPCI, man. I mean, I don't know. Is Pokemon trying to kill it? I don't know. Who knows? Anyway, with the inevitable market changes that have occurred, there's some questions I have for this. So let's dive right into that. Like, is GameStop literally going to kill the local game store, local card market store? And
Probably.
are they going to kill the secondary market doing this? I mean, I want you to think about GameStop for just a second. The last time you were into a GameStop and you go in and you have some games, you're going to trade those games in to get more games, right? What was the value that you were getting for those games? You bought a game at $60, you play the game for 6 weeks, brand new, and then you trade the game in for $4. What does GameStop do? They take that game at $4 and then they flip it around at 26 is what they do. So you might have bought a game at 60, but market value on the game may be 26. You're not even getting close to market value, and nor are you getting anything near what the value of the game was originally. Now, I understand that's how some of this stuff works, and that's fine. That's okay. But it's kind of crazy. I'll give you another example. So during Christmas, this past holiday season, I was standing in line. I should never have been there, but I was buying a Roblox card for my daughter, and this lady had a Nintendo Switch. Gray, beautiful, no issues, perfect, pristine, came in a Mario case. I was looking for one. I did not want to pay the 180 because if I wanted to pay 180 for a new Switch Lite, sorry, I should put a preface. It was a Switch Lite. If I wanted to pay for a Switch Lite, I would have paid full price for a Switch Lite, right? For a brand new one, but I didn't. I wanted to buy a used one only because I know the market value and I knew what they would have been. So this lady is standing there and he looks it over. The guy at the register looks over and says, "Yeah, we're going to be able to offer you $40 cash or 45 trade." 45 trade.
What? You gotta be kidding me.
Like he couldn't even bump that up to 80 in trade. And my mind was blown. My mind was blown. And she's like, "Well, I was looking to get 100, 120." Which rightly so. Like, I mean, that's way closer to the market value on those things. And I offered her 120 right there on the spot for that thing because I wanted one, but I wasn't paying $200 for one. I was gladly willing to take 120. That's a great price for a Switch Lite, and that's the thing. Like, so think about GameStop. Think about what they do. Like, you're gonna offer in a set of cards to GameStop, and they're gonna lowball you even more so than a local card store would. I mean, just
Are you trying to make my head explode?
think about that. The concept is huge. They're going to lowball you. So even if this is like a value issue, like the program, the way that game programs are done, like video games, I'm not a video game expert. I don't dive into a lot of video game stuff. I play them, but I don't dive into them. The concepts here is just mind boggling because GameStop has this mentality. They don't pay anything more than 20% for something, and then they upcharge it to 90% of value or 100% of value, and people will buy it. People buy it. People go in, they find the game they want. It's probably been used. It's not even at market. It's above market most times, and they're going to buy it. Anyway, I digress from this. Okay, but just think about how that is. That leaves that's left a really bad taste in a lot of people's mouths when it comes to GameStop. That's why GameStop's physical copies are waning, and it's also because of digital content. Like, people are downloading the digital content on their consoles and playing it that way. For me, I like to have a physical copy of stuff, so it doesn't make sense for me to have a digital copy. I prefer the physical copy. I like to have it in there. I mean, what happens if the internet does break? Literally breaks. What if the zombie apocalypse occurs and we run out of toilet paper like we did 3 years ago? Anyway, so think about that. So GameStop also doesn't have some things in place. Like, how are they gonna determine value on these cards? Like, if you look at TCG Player or even eBay, maybe even price charting, for example, for a lot of the Japanese stuff, these are familiar tools that we as resellers, we as shop owners, we as collectors, we understand these tools. We know them. And we use them on a regular basis in order to get our information to help us better understand the market value of something in which we're going to collect, buy, or sell, right? So the idea here is like, how is GameStop even going to determine value? What are they going to determine as fair market value? What are they going to determine as fair buy-in value? Because, I mean, a lot of LGSs have buy rates. I have buy rates. Check out my site, cardfathertcg.com. There's a button that says, sell us your cards. I have the buy rates listed. I tell you what I'm buying bulk at, what I'm buying cards at. I even have a buy list of specific cards that I would like to see come into the store. So I have clients who want to buy those cards because they're looking for them. And it's ludicrous. How is GameStop going to do this? Are they going to use the same tools that we're using? Are they going to do it fairly? Are they going to do it correctly? So that then also brings me to a question of like, how is this going to affect the market? And are we going to see some kind of like predator prey action here happen with GameStop? Because quite honestly, the market is volatile. Like Rudy over at Alpha Investments says that it is a beautiful time in 2024. If you're going to be in the CCG world, he says it's a beautiful time because the market is healing, it's recovering. Rudy, I trust you, but sometimes I question your sanity because I'm not seeing that. But anyway, but yeah, they're like, hey, let's do it. You know, you're seeing, take into examples, right? Okay, Evolving Skies, ridiculous. Okay, Evolving Skies has skyrocketed. That Moonbryon, that Umbreon VMAX, that oh, so gorgeous. But have you seen the prices on TCG Player? Have you seen the prices people are now charging for a PSA 8 or a PSA 9 for that? Don't even talk to me about PSA 10. Like just ridiculous amounts of money going for these cards. Lost Origins skyrocketing, right? Chilling Reign skyrocketing. You know the next sets that are getting ready to hit? Like I called my distributor because I was looking to buy into a couple more boxes of certain sets. Silver Tempest gone. Brilliant Stars gone. Uh yeah, Pokemon Go gone. You could pretty much go the whole gambit. Crown Zenith gone. Even though they're not sold out on TCG Player or they're not sold out on Pokemon Center, doesn't make a difference. The prices are going to astronomical. The market is volatile. And not only is it volatile, it's not a bubble, but it changes very quickly. So the question I have is like with new sets coming and being a race to the bottom, like what are we going to see? Like what is the common practice? How is GameStop going to help this? And then you got these people who scalp products from like Walmart, and it's not even retail arbitrage at that point. It's literal scalping. They scalp this product, and I see it all the freaking time. They turn around, sell it on Facebook as if it was, hey, I just got this in. It's never been seen before kind of attitude. It's ridiculous. But anyway, how is GameStop going to do that? How are they going to keep scalpers from going in, scalping product, and then turning around and selling it? And or how are they going to stop thieves from going in and stealing this stuff, maybe getting a hit off the pack that they broke into one of those mystery boxes on, and then turn around and sell that at GameStop for nothing. They bought it for nothing and they're making like 20, 30 bucks on it. I mean, that's pay. That's payday, right? That's a 20x increase on your money. I mean, it's payday. So I honestly don't know. I don't think this is all speculative stuff that I'm saying. And don't take everything I'm saying as fact. Comment below. Let me know what you think about this at the moment. But hey, how about this fact? And I've been on the receiving end, is GameStop actually preys on people who are ignorant. Sorry to say it, GameStop preys. They're a corporation. They're out to make cash. Okay. There's a difference between me, a reseller who wants to sell to people because it's a hobby and a game and it's fun. And I like to make a little bit of money on the side, or I like to build my business. Because honestly, folks, my dream is to open up a full local game store here in my local city. I really want to open one. There's not one here in the area that I'm in. They're all over the bigger part of the city, but they're not here in the local area that I'm in. I would love to open up a game store. I know, Rudy, if you're watching this, I pray to God you are, but if you're watching this, I know I've seen your videos. I understand. But that's my dream. I want to open up a physical brick and mortar. And I'm not going to prey on people, but GameStop will. And they've done it. They do it consistently. They prey on the fact that nobody knows what they're doing. They prey on the fact that nobody understands the market. They prey on the fact that nobody does the research. They prey on the fact that nobody takes their time. There's a difference between somebody who's going to sell me a collection at 60% or even 50%. It would be great to say 50%. I accept 60 to 70% on a market collection, and my profits are only 10 to 15. I've gone over this. There's a video about it, how I do this, how others do this in the resale market. But if that's the thing, if GameStop's going to buy it at 20% and then mark it up to 100%, I mean, they're literally cheating people out of their money. They're gouging out of the people their money. Yes, there's a thing to be said that if people are ignorant, ha ha ha, if people are ignorant, they're just going to be able to do it and they're not going to know, so they might as well just take advantage. No, see, that's the problem. That's an ethical and moral issue for me. It's not about that. Like, I'm going to give you a prime example. I had an opportunity at a card show. This kid brings me up a PSA 10 Gengar VMAX alternate art Fusion Strike. A beautiful card. I've wanted one. Not only to have in my collection, I've wanted to sell one. I have a collector who really wants one of those and a PSA 10. And he can't, he's sent in 3 and he can only get them in 9s. For some reason, PSA doesn't like him. They don't like me either. PSA, if you're listening, please come on, like us a little bit more. Thank you. Anyway, so he's been trying to find a 10. I had a 10. That card is worth what, 350, somewhere in that range, right? The card now is worth that. I mean, just in a graded sense, it's also probably a little bit more. But The kid wanted to take a $50, hear me out, $50 AGS graded 6 Gengar Topps Chrome card. $50 compared to his $350 Gengar. I couldn't do it, folks. There was no way I could do it. I can't do that. That's a moral and ethical issue for me. I can't do it. I wanted to do it. I could have easily made that kid's day by giving him the Gengar and doing a swap, but trade value doesn't make sense for me. I can't do that. That's a moral and ethical thing. And the difficulty is like they prey on people's ignorance. Okay, but because GameStop is a huge corporation and they have this presence, like they can be everywhere because there's a store everywhere. You know, they don't have to drive out hunting for collections. They don't have to take the time to do the research on things. And not to mention, who in the right mind is going to sell to GameStop if you don't know market prices? Like their employees don't even know market prices of video games. They got to go clickety clack and figure it out by looking it up online. And that's the thing. There's no set standard for GameStop because it's all built in. Their employees are just there to do their job. They're restricted for what they can and what they can't do. There's no negotiating. You go to your local card shop, you can look at a card, maybe $100. You know it's going to be 110 is what they're selling it for because there's like that 10%. Hey, we got to make up a little bit here. But you go in and you're going to negotiate that. And if it's a good card shop, they're going to negotiate back. You may walk out of there with that card at $95 and the market on it's 100. Okay, you may walk out of there with a little bit of a deal. You may walk out of there with 90. You may trade in something to a game store. I know there's a game store here in my local area of Columbus who's phenomenal with their trade-in credit. Like, I mean, phenomenal. Like, sometimes they're given 50% trade-in credit. Like, that's nuts. 50%. The 25 is an industry standard, but 50% trade-in credit is insane. And they're given that on top of the cash that they would offer because they understand the value of their customer and they're willing to work with their community. Like, that's the thing. I just don't see GameStop doing that. I don't see GameStop doing that. So versus all the things that go around the market, learning how to do it, valuing collections, cleaning them, conditioning, their employees aren't going to do that. They're going to take that thing in, they're going to put it back in the case, and they're going to sell it. And they're probably not going to condition it correctly, which means they're going to look at something and say, well, you know, this looks good, and then they're going to market it as near mint when there's scratches and it's chipped all over the back. And then you're going to call into question this, and they're going to say, well, that's the price. There's no wiggle room, right? It doesn't make any sense. So here's my take. My hot, fast, end of the line take. This is not a good thing. I don't believe this is a good thing. I am against stores coming into. I'm not. I should put it this way. I am not against stores coming into the TCG world. I'm not. I'm not against stores making money and furthering the community. I am against destroying the market. I am against being uneducated, and I am against corporatizing the hobby because there's a reason it's called a game, guys. It's a game. There's a community that becomes involved with it. There's a community built around it, and there's a support that comes from a community to businesses that focus on being trustworthy and having dependability and being credible. And GameStop, in my honest opinion, just doesn't have that. GameStop doesn't support the community, and it doesn't offer the community any benefits. Any benefits. They sell everything at or above MSRP, and all the while they steal from those unsuspecting people who come in and have no knowledge or know no better. I don't like this. It's called morals and it's called ethics, and I don't believe GameStop has either. So that's my hot take on this possible future of GameStop offering singles at a location near you. So, hey, shameless plug. I've got Twilight Masquerade on pre-order right now. We're just 2 weeks away from the official drop. Visit my store, cardfathertcg.com. Go ahead and click that little banner button. It'll take you right to the pre-order page while I offer up what I have for sale. I do have a limited stock coming in an allocation, so please buy it all from me. Help support my small business. I promise. I have reviews and I'm a trusted seller on a lot of different channels: TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube's, just look it up. I'm all over the place. But also, if you like this kind of content, please consider liking, consider following me, subscribing, and go ahead and leave a comment. Let me know down below what you think of this. It helps me. It's free for you to do. So there's no charge, which is awesome because there's not a lot of whole free things in this world anymore. And it helps me grow. Now, speaking of growing, I am literally a handful away from hitting my goal of 250 subscribers here on YouTube. 250. I would never have thought of doing this, but I'm at 245 at the moment. I'm a handful away. And I want to give away something. I want to give away something. So we're looking to give away an Elite Trainer box. I'm looking to open it up on live stream here on YouTube. I'm looking to get those 250 subscribers. And all you have to do is go to this video up here and just, hey, I watched this video, and leave me a comment and like it, and then you're going to be entered into that. And then I will announce to everybody through another YouTube channel and an email list. So if you go to my website, you subscribe to my email list, which would be great because you can get free shipping. I then will drop you an email letting you know when I'm going to go live for that. And then, of course, because it's a party, who doesn't like a party? I just don't like cake, okay? But who doesn't like a party? I have a few other little surprises in store for that as well. Okay, hey, remember, you can do all things through Christ who gives you strength. It's been a pleasure. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. And as always, we'll see you in the next one.